This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shishina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topic News: Police on Grand Bahama meeting with members of the media today to review the state of crime. Senior Assistant Commissioner of Police telling reporters that 2014 statistics show a decline in criminal activity. But he says there are some unsolved matters and public assistance is needed to resolve these outstanding cases. Megan Shepard has our top story.
Commissioner of Police for the Bahamas, Allison Greenslade, issuing a comprehensive crime overview for the country earlier this week, noting that crime has seen a significant decrease. On Friday afternoon, Assistant Commissioner of Police for the Northern Bahamas, Emerick Seymour, meeting with the press to note that he is pleased with the work being done by the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
Crime in the Royal Bahamas would have decreased by an overall 18%, and that's Bahamas wide. And the only challenge we've had, because we've had decreases in all of our categories of crime. That's crimes against the persons, crimes against the property, with the exception of, and he mentioned murder. Okay, murder was our Achilles heel for this year, but all other acts of criminality, crimes against the persons, crimes against the Bahamas, have seen significant decreases.
He adds that in 2014, the murder count for Grand Bahama was 10, and of those 10, 5 still remain unsolved. But he is optimistic that these outstanding matters will be resolved.
We would have solved 5 of the 10. I'm looking for 3 suspects in 3 of the other ones, 3 named suspects. We're zeroing on 1 right now, that'll make 6. And of course we have two other ones, so there are 2 outstanding. I can tell you there are 2 outstanding ones that we're still working with. But we have three named suspects in 3 of the 5 that are outstanding. So we would have solved 5. We have 3 suspects in 3 of the others, and of course so 2 would be the one that are giving us some problems.
2 of those outstanding cases, he adds, are that of Americans Anthony Kyle Walsh and Canadian Edgar George Dart. But in 2014, Grand Bahama made significant progress in the war on drugs with several major drug finds. ACP Seymour even calling them historic.
We've seen some significant drug seizures in Grand Bahama. Last year has been definitely a record-breaking year for us, because we continue to have our law enforcement arms out, resources out to curtail these acts of criminality as they happen. Grand Bahama is, we've seen it over and repeatedly, is perhaps could be considered a transshipment point. We've seen it, our evidence suggests that.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Well, yesterday was decision day for 4 young men convicted of causing the death of businessman Christopher Alton. Attorneys for the men made a last-ditch appeal for leniency. But at the end of the day, the attorneys say the sentences were more excessive than they anticipated. Italia Hall has this story.
The day was filled with emotions as family members sat in the courtroom waiting to hear what would have happened to the 4 young men convicted of causing the death of businessman Chris Alton back in 2013. One of the men, Valentino Bethel, could be heard sobbing in the courtroom, stating that he is an innocent man who's locked up and his life is on the line. After hearing a probation report and an appeal for leniency from the attorneys involved in the case, Justice Hartman Longley handed down the sentencing. Shivargo, aka Sean Cawley, and Harrison Watkins were each sentenced to 15 years on the charge of conspiracy. Valentino Bethel was sentenced to 40 years on the charge of murder, 25 years for robbery, and 15 years on the charge of conspiracy. And Nataria Watkins was given 50 years for murder, 25 for robbery, and 15 for conspiracy. Brother of the deceased, Pastor Simeon Alton, says it has been a long, hard journey for his family, but there are no real winners.
That's sad that these young men now would have to spend a greater part of their lives behind bars. And I hope in some way other young men like myself would take note that if we do wrong, someday the law is going to catch up with us, and we're going to have to pay for the wrong that we do. And so, I walked away, the emotions high, it's difficult to celebrate for me personally. Um, my family were looking for justice. We are of the view that justice was served.
Carlton Sherlin defended Chivargo Colley, aka Sean Colley, and he says his client maintains his innocence and will appeal the sentence.
I did not want my client to be tried with these fellas. This is a very popular family. There's a lot of emotions going around, and it is just almost impossible to have and find a jury in this town that is totally objective, devoid of emotions, and dealt with the issues and the facts.
Nataria Watkins' attorney LaQuay Lang says the sentence of 50 years for murder, 25 years for robbery, and 15 years for conspiracy is too excessive. But he says he hopes other young men would take heed to the message.
What I thought was a bit harsh, considering the fact that he is 23 years of age, 50 years would bring him to about 73. And when he comes out, he's not going to be perhaps be able to offer much contribution to society. And as I mentioned in court, the good Lord promised 70 years, three scores and 10, and his sentence took him beyond that. So, it's just rather unfortunate. Those persons out there who may be thinking about committing a crime, you don't want to commit a crime, certainly you don't want to commit a murder. Obviously, you see the sentencing that it carries. It's a very serious offense.
Alton was shot and killed outside his home in Deadman's Reef 3 years ago. Italia Hall, 7S Network News.
Thanks, Italia. While the two Bahamian men who were arrested in waters off Bimini were arraigned before Magistrate Andrew Forbes today in New Providence. Nino Cooper and Octavius Lewis pled not guilty to drug charges and were remanded to prison. The case was adjourned until April 23rd. Based on police reports, police along with other law enforcement agencies were out to sea in waters just off Bimini on Wednesday evening when they intercepted a 25-foot speedboat with 2 men on board. Now, the officers searched the vessel and reportedly discovered 9 taped packages of suspected marijuana hidden on that boat. And terminations taking place at a major resort over on the island of Bimini. ZNS News has learned that 11 employees at Bimini Sands Resort are now on the unemployment line. According to community leader Vincent Ellis, there has been a change in ownership of the property, and these latest terminations may have a significant impact on the island.
A lot of these gentlemen, they have loans and they have families and children in school, and all of them are going to be affected by that. As a matter of fact, the whole island is going to be affected by that. And we've always they're gracious to Bimini Sands. They've lasted a long time, and this is the first time that we've ever had something like this drop in the bucket with them. And we are very, very, the island is very, very much concerned. It's an infection on the whole island because these people, like I say, they cover a lot of the family and children in school and all that stuff is involved, and there's loans to pay, and and after 18 years of construction down on a project that weighs probably $1 billion, how could you tell them that you don't owe them no severance pay or something like that? That's what they want. It's a labor problem now. And
well, he says some of the employees have worked at the resort for up to 20 years and have been told that they will not receive severance pay.
They were told in a meeting by management that they sent in from Nassau that they don't owe them anything. That the project is over, the construction project is over, and that's it. But they know full well that it can't be done like that. It all came in right after they went back after the Christmas holiday, after the holidays. They were told that they were finished. They didn't get any bonus for Christmas, and so they knew that something was in the air. And when they went back after the New Year, they tell them that, hey, that's it. They meet new people in there, new manager in there, Mr. Bannister from Nassau, a new manager in there, and he told them that they get a letter, which I have in my hand, one of the letters. That was sent to National Insurance and signed by the office manager. And it reads, reason for termination, layoff, construction phase of project completed.
organization dedicated to the development of young boys, remembering the life and legacy of Freeport's fallen pioneer Sir Jack Hayward. A leading former executive said Sir Jack's contributions can be described as immeasurable. John Davis Roll reports.
The late Sir Jack Hayward was not only a pioneer, but a man who for decades contributed significantly to this island's youth. For him, it was an investment in our future generation. Reflecting on the contributions of the fallen philanthropist is a former executive of the Boy Scouts Association, Clayton Curtis.
Sir Jack sponsored all of the instruments for the very first Scout band that we had here in Grand Bahama. And that band was under the directorship of Mr. Edward Buchanan. And after their initial training, when they made their public debut at the International Bazaar in a concert and parade by the Tory Gate, Sir Jack was invited to inspect the band and to give his stamp of approval. But after the performance, he, in his very humorous way, said that, in his humble opinion, the money he spent on the Scout band was the best investment that the Grand Bahama Port Authority had ever made.
Curtis recalls how the Scouts movement on Grand Bahama was able to survive thanks to the support of Sir Jack, who made that group a priority.
He was instrumental in helping us to secure our district headquarters. There was a time when the headquarters was located at the original Hawksbill Yacht Club, which was located on the Fishing Hole Road. And not only did he allow us to use that building as our headquarters, but it was also our official campsite. And the Sea Scouts were allowed to store their vessels, the sailing boats that they used for training, also at that facility. At some point, too, he had also donated property just off Settlers Way, where the official headquarters building was to be erected.
Though known for his generosity, Curtis reminisced how Sir Jack was not one to boast of his philanthropic efforts, which in his view were countless.
The Bible says, in the giving of alms or in the giving of assistance, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. And Sir Jack was that type of a person, without an appointment, and we can almost stop him anywhere or just go to his office and articulate what our needs and concerns were. And before we could turn our backs and close the door behind us, we were assured that assistance was forthcoming. And he did it without hesitation, without reservation, and without, like you said, blowing his own horn. And if only we could have more people like that. Sir Jack personified what the founder of the Scout Association said at the end of his life. And his goal, his objective in starting the Boy Scouts was that we should all leave the world, our communities, a better place than we met it.
Joan Davis Rowe, ZNS Network News.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Ministry for Grand Bahama continuing its mandate to inform residents about the benefits available to them under the government's East and West Grand Bahama Economic Development Regulation. Last night, ministry officials took the campaign to the Smiths Point community. Sabrina Brown has the story.
A team from the Ministry for Grand Bahama met with residents of Smiths Point Thursday evening to outline the government's plan to stimulate economic growth and development in that area through duty-free concessions. The East and West Grand Bahama Economic Development Regulation took effect last July, and officials are encouraging residents in those outlying areas to take advantage of this program. Ministry for Grand Bahama Representative Conrad Jones says applicants must show proof that they plan to inject a minimum of $5,000 into their business over a 12-month period.
To give you an example, you would come to the duty-free unit and you would say to us, okay, for those of you that's in the restaurant business, for instance, I need to purchase refrigerators, coolers, deep fryers, stoves, and I'm going to spend about, let's say, $7,000. I'm going to spend $7,000 because your expenditure there at $7,000 is over the $5,000 minimum threshold, okay, you are automatically eligible to make application.
He says the process works two ways.
You could either import the stuff that you need, or Customs have a list of approved vendors that are bonded vendors that bring in items already bonded, such as like Kelly's and Dolly Madison, that you will be able to go, once you get approved, you will be able to go and buy your items locally, but from their bonded stock.
Jones pointed out that the regulation is only applicable to capital goods and not consumable goods.
The capital goods in your business are more the hard assets, such as in the restaurant business, it would be your fridge, stove, building materials, those type of stuff. The consumable stuff would be the chicken, the fish, and those other things that you sell to consumers. This program only assists with the capital side, meaning the hard goods. The consumable side, there's no provision for it.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
In other news, the Grand Bahama Humane Society encouraging residents to adopt or support the nonprofit organization. Tonight, the executive director talks about the challenges they face and the ease of adopting a furry friend. The month of December was a good one for the Humane Society. A total of 30 animals were adopted. Caretakers say it's the highest number they've seen in recent time. But with 180 dogs and cats still at the facility, Executive Director Tip Burrows is calling on residents to welcome one of these friendly pets into their home.
And they all need homes. They're all healthy. They're all up to date with their medical and everything. Adopting a pet from us is one of the best deals you'll find around, and there's no VAT on our adoption fees either.
Funding remains a challenge for the Humane Society, and that is why many more adoptions are needed.
We are always underfunded and always struggling to pay the bills and to buy the pet food and the medical supplies and everything it takes to run this place.
It takes $750,000 to operate the shelter annually. This money is collected through fundraisers and donations. For those who are not interested in adopting a furry friend, Burrows is encouraging them to make a donation so that the center can care for the animals.
People can support our fundraisers. They can make donations. Come in and volunteer if you can't donate. There's so many ways to help, and everyone could do something. The work that we do benefits the whole community, and it's a community problem, so it's going to take all of us to fix it.
And for those who are interested in the adoption process, the executive director says it's simple and easy.
We do a home visit to make sure that your fence is secure and you have adequate shelter and shade for the animals, and pick out who you'd like to adopt. And our adoption fees are very reasonable, $75 for dogs and $50 for cats.
Hundreds of Bahamians are expected to attend the annual Cacique Awards at the Malia Resort in New Providence tomorrow night. It is a big event for the Ministry of Tourism as it endeavors to award those who go above and beyond in the tourism sector. Tonight we will meet two straw sisters who have been nominated for the prestigious Cacique Awards in the craft industry. Italia Hall is on the beat.
Stephenetta Frith and Rogana Wilchcombe, they are two sisters who have been in the straw making business for quite a few years now, and they have been nominated for a Cacique Award. The sisters say they are always thinking of something new to create, from handbags to clutches, shoes, household accessories, wallets, and jewelry. These attractive creations all started with a straw class they both enrolled in West Grand Bahama.
And I was in grade school here in West End, and the straw market was out front. And we had women like Miss Hilda Camp, Miss Eliza Martin, Miss Y, Jewel, a few of the ladies, and they sent their children to college. Straw work paid for houses, cars. There is money in it. It's just that the market right now is a bit stagnant. And when it comes to whether you're going to pay a bill for the power or buy a bag, the bill wins out. But I believe that the economy is changing, and the Bahamian people and tourists alike will start buying it in quantities that we will see a good income from it.
We do have a lot of persons on the island and throughout the Bahama Islands that are able to do handbags. So I think if we all get together, and I believe somewhere down the line this can be a big money-making item.
For the Strawtacular sisters, just being nominated is a privilege, and so when they got that call, they were excited and started their happy dance.
I am ecstatic. Ecstatic. Years ago, when I used to see persons, and I always said, I wonder what I have to do to actually get there. And I am now here, and it's an honor just to be in the running. It's really an honor.
For these sisters, the recognition serves as a great motivator for the business.
It's going to motivate me to strive to do more fantabulous bags. Our name Strawtacular, as in spectacular. We're going to do more Strawtacular bags because it's expected of us now. A lot of people will say, well, this one is more talented than them, but we were chosen, so we have to live up to that name now, whether finalist or winner. I feel just being finalists alone, we already won.
The Sisters of Strawcraft plan to market their spectacular products all over the world. Italia Hall, Saturday Network News.
Stay with us. Ricardo Liveborn joins us next with the check on sports.
Everybody, it's Sports Time. I'm Ricardo Liveborn. Tonight is a special one because the week is dedicated to Reverend Henley Perry down there in New Providence, the Methodist family, Anglican, Catholic, Baptist, Church of God, Seventh-day Adventist, everybody up here in Northern Bahamas, sending your love down there to you, buddy. Guess what? It is well. The Davenport Baptist Academy Falcons on the track at the Plex today. Our Kimberly Mullings can't run a lick, but boy, she's got a 4-1-1 for you.
Good weather and even better spirits made for a fun inter-house track and field sports day. The Falcons had track and field events lined up for everyone, from the kiddies all the way to the teachers. Principal Norris Bain says it's always a good time to build camaraderie among the students and staff at Tabernacle, and added that sports day is something he looks forward to each year.
Our house sports is not about competition, it's about us coming out here and having fun. And when it gets to the island sports, that's for the serious track individuals. But we want our teachers to be involved in this as well, so that our students can laugh at them and we in turn can laugh at them, and we can just have a good old time out here. So this is about camaraderie and building school spirit and school pride for us.
Although it's all fun and games, two-time defending champions Major House captain Stuart Sherafont says they're in it to win it.
You know, it's very exciting to see them participate because it's always, it's always schoolwork, books, and it's good that they can come out here and enjoy themselves. We won last year, we won the year before, and we're going to win again this year. Besides winning, we're going to have a big party afterwards. Major house rules.
Captains Philip Waterburn and Demetrius Simonet of Fuller and Woodside Houses both say sports day is a good time for healthy competition, school pride, and a great way to spend the day off.
Sports this year is going good so far. The kids are excited, teachers also. Taking into account everybody, from kindergarten straight up to high school, and everybody this year is just Tabernacle having a good day as kids and teachers. That's what we're here for.
Woodside or nothing. Tabernacle is always known for its camaraderie and its unity, and it's definitely displayed firsthand and prime example this morning. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And so, it's a little break in there. It's not long, one day. I think that rest is really good for them.
The Egg and Spoon and Teacher's Sack races were definitely a treat for the students. Some fell at the start and along the way, but they all made it to the finish line. Eventually. Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Total Sports.
Boy, they're breaking up the track. Okay, it's going to stop now tomorrow. Falcons going to have the first annual Athletic Primary School Junior Relays. Nikito Johnson, who's head of the track program over there, says it's a very good way for coaches and student athletes to see exactly where you are in January.
Track and field is for everybody. It doesn't take much to do track and field, a pair of sprints, sometimes even barefoot. And at this time of the year, the kids need to start running. And we're talking about running at all age groups so that so coaches can see what they have, what they need to work on, and in preparation for the Island Championships later on this year.
Okay, they tell me that's it, but let me let you know that the Stingers and Bishop Michael Eden Warriors are going to be competing tomorrow. 4 o'clock to be at the Jack Hayward Gym. Go support them. It's going to be fun. I'm playing golf in the morning, Guthrie charity tournament. And Sunday, I'm going to go out there with Artie Taylor and the boys at Fortune Hills. They save the best lunch on Sunday. That's it for sports.